So just a really short video here. Some more thinking and looking at the markets and looking at the liquidity indicator, trying to provide you with some more alpha and making it easier for you to use in different time zones. So here I'm looking at the longer period so we can see accumulation, we can see bigger changes in liquidity. And also changed the liquidity sentiment to 7 periods. And what's that's doing as far as the little algorithm or the little bit of maths is that it's the front period is the front period that you're looking at, the time you're looking at, but it's being moderated by the 7 periods prior to it. And what that's doing is giving us thicker, more even periods of liquidity rather than it bouncing around quite sharp. And it's very sharp if you have it set on 1. And also I've reduced the MA, the moving average, down to 20 periods, just to try and make that a bit more abrupt so we've got a bit more depth in the chart here. I've also tried to think a little bit differently about where we've got it bouncing from one side to the other being indecisive, and it looks, it's probably untradeable. They're difficult periods, and sometimes you just have to, there'll be times that markets are changing, and that's easy to see in the underlying, in the option open interest, but it's not so, that's what we have as an amber reading in our daily updates, but it's probably not so obvious here. What is obvious here is we have this oscillation from one side to the other. So I've called that balance. It might be accumulation in the underlying. I'm not certain. I measure when something starts to, I'll point it out here. Oh, doesn't want to, my fingers are too big. This is the bottom. This is where it changes. It's not this point here. It's where this has bottomed out and started to rise. And you can see it rise here. Yes, we do get another oscillation, but that is the start of the illiquid period. So the reality is that the illiquid period has finished here, all the way back here, and it has become liquid. It doesn't. Oh, I'll move it back even further. It's that green is just the available graphics that TradingView has for us to colour below or above the moving average. Really, we're looking at the outside of the moving average. We're looking at the actual indicator itself, and this is where it's bottomed, and this is where it starts to go up and down. And that's where we can see, if we go to this point here, we can see that we're still rising while it's deciding to become more liquid. It's rising. This illiquid period is rising up into this liquid period. And this liquid period starts all the way back here. And we then get this blow off top, and then we see the price has taken all the way down here till it started to fall. And we can see then that down in this period here, it's actually changing its direction. It's changing its direction up here. So while it's still in this falling price here, while there's price discovery being done, it is leading into the next bottom. We can see it already leaning into the bottom. That does complicate it when we're looking on a 2-hourly, and we've pushed it forward 7 time periods. But it's just good to note that it is leading in these areas. It is starting to tell you that you've got a pullback and it's becoming liquid, or it's starting to tell you that it's going to bottom out during that pullback and it's starting to become more illiquid. So to see that, I just want to go back and see what happened yesterday during the morning's trading. And we had a large increase. Don't look at the time zones. I think I've got this time zone set somewhere very strange. Maybe it's set in Europe, or don't know, 3 o'clock. Where's 3 o'clock? Middle of the Atlantic. Anyway, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I think it's about 11:30 a.m. in New York. It's Eastern time. And so we've had this liquid period start all the way up here. All right, and it's as the illiquidity has fallen. The liquidity has fallen and become more illiquid. It's fallen down, and it's given this great price discovery that we can see up in the top chart here in the candlesticks. Then we've fallen into that price at about 11:30 as we've started to come towards the close. This is in the 5-minute zone. We've fallen into this nice little wedge here, this little equilateral triangle, which to technical analysis you would think is an equilateral triangle. It's a flag that's not telling us it's one way or the other. But the underlying is telling us here we are starting to become more liquid. It is moving up into the liquid zone. People are already getting out. It's really a blow off top that we're seeing here. All right, and we can see this slowly going up and becoming more and more liquid until finally the price, as we've gone into the close, has given us this beautiful drop out of the top of what we looked like an equilateral triangle wasn't actually. Might as well have been a rising flag. That's the effect it's given us, and the Bitcoin price has dropped back. If we then want to have a look what happened then in Mara to see what the I can't right click it. The whole screen's disappeared. Here's Mara. I'll just get rid of. Oh no, that can stay there. Here's Mara. So Mara's risen 11% during the day. Very, very similar time period. Again, I'm looking. If I look down here at this liquid period coming, the liquid has started here, right down here at the bottom at about 11:30. It started becoming a liquid. It started becoming liquid, and that actually aligns. So we've gone through this illiquid period here all morning. We've had great price rising, in line with the close the day before. At some stage during the afternoon, the day before, we started to become a liquid. You can see all the way up here, it's deciding, even that we've got a little bit of price discovery, it's going up, but all the way up here, it started sinking into illiquidity. And if we look here, we've then got this great price discovery, and it's really topped as far as illiquidity's gone there, and it's become more and more liquid. And this, and as J-Roll called it during the day in the trading room, in the meme stock watch and simply options trading room, he's called this drop and he's told you all to get out here or to hedge. Get out, shrink your position, and it's dropped into the afternoon. The interesting thing to note is that, yes, we did have an 11% pullback, almost finishing the day only up 0.7% or something like that. But we'll look what's happened down here. We've fallen into this target area here, which really is really nice and green. We've fallen back into illiquidity. It's a great little. I don't know. We'll have to see what it does on the open on Monday morning. But it's looking like it's really liquid, which let's see what the options, let's see what the tell is in the underlying. Anyway, I hope that that's some alpha that was added and an extra tool that you should all watch during the day when you're making decisions what you're going to do. And I wonder if J-Roll was watching it when he made the call. Anyway, I hope you have a lovely long weekend. Finish with your long weekend. Happy Thanksgiving.